Saya apa ya? Ini dulu. Ini dia. Ini apa kau? Ini ada anu korek ini. Hari ini ini. Ini gambar mana? Ini gambar mana? Ini gambar mana? Ini gambar mana? Hari ini ini sih. Come viene lo quindi quello vignolo non me ne fa no non me ne fa no c'è questo una mano e poi con quello questo me che punato di file ma quella poi da cara caro mi va no va bene dove a cime per dire a vuoi mi vuoi andiamo a segnalo. Ese un angolo tahun depan ini mana minta level bisa mau makota Malaysia betul tem mana ibu nak weh sibuk kurang siapa nak Sen so bele boy. Sini.
Small like jollof.
See. Sasana. They cook it too much.
I hear committing haram.
It's a bench one. So when they cook them too much.
You come in, Mamma, you don't know, feel like where? But you had they had Fito, African
Found it today.
Yes, pounded it.
Sugar cane one.
Cactus. The cactus.
Paul, just a young lady. I don't message very much, but then I tell you. I can't really allow it. Así de dilo, donde va mi voz, ya ve chini, dilo. Toji haelo, para ñala mi ñu. Ano bet because it look good. I could be a banana guy.
Copy this.
Collect.
Brown one. Brown. Brown. Brown.
Cái là bốc cải. Habibi yenyewe tonyo nonyo obinyo fonyo dadanyo wenyo kapete na yenyewe ndio yote eu mauga sopolisa mauga kata mauga se joto ameko na mama se ke na mama kama na wewe pia kama na video yo nisenye kwa kuliko sira tafia atepe
Brown one.
eu hapa nimekuwa kwenye yo sheme hapo kwa sasa kwa show kwa ya brax meo ya mtoto kwa kuleta leta bebe kwa huo pesa kama ya kwa Maybe you're not on here and you look at it as much as I and I found I'm going to be a good one of my own. When I'm back to Florida for playing them, I can't mind with them. I think that's not going to be kind of oh, at the pay, and I ain't chop. But that's at them. A clan, which I think you trade the woman to a good car, go to good. Or by a being a baby, my happen to my now. Na ko luka ejo Africa Cameroon ile mo so be ile Europe me ba ka ko ni se me je fi gbedo agbe epeko na je te ka ya se da ya te pe me he anaye ho do go agbe me la be do re e be le na se ni che me e pe ya chi na mi ko te me ko me yo amagasi se geja asese ese me yo brahini yo Voncujovi yo yo amagasi ese pasese tamo que che ya china que yo brahini yo Voncujovi yo foli ko mo ke ko mo do che ma fa ga to yo me de ya china mi do chete pe ba do re na mo na fa na yo to nya ko se ko akubia ko ya china que ye me yo no ni akoso abo tebe no achira ina mi kuto me fana ngogo ngoro ni na ngogo me fana me yo dasi fonyo ko keche ko ko dachina ko kero me fa kuto me fana ni me yo dasi nya mo si ya bozo ya ko bra mama ni bonde to ko nya ko to ko nya ko bia mensa dachina ko ke ni ama ko teo mi do anu ya me yo mama ni dure ko be poku no China for the Kenya, but if you don't have any good and I'm good in the fun. Your when you're Celestina, I could be a Katrina, I could be a Fonia, Secotofonia, or Ben. Put to Menefana and Bobo, you are not to with you, may occur. That's the question, but I so bad. We have got that fish so far. One movie. Bokor Facha, okay? Put to Menefana and Bobo, and I would never know. They may all backbone, no, like me, Abaga. Concord.
Pak bek nana berdiri. Apa biar aku, enak aku malu biar aku biar mana aku ada meja hana yo, gaji beda guna yo.
Meja hana yo. Aku ya gaji beda guna yo. Ada guna aku, mau bodoh. Ada dokter jaga. Ya lebih, namanya kebiasa bodoh aku lo soal.
Ibo to annoy le.
Ko wa ibo ba ga.
Annoy me ba.
Okay, you na hi ba te la be no he me.
Ache.
Yo. Hey.
Boy ball zero. Ate pon do ala re.
The women Majo ni jilo. Jilo no di majo no di koro mo nebe. Ni belo. Se kwa dijo no mi afa melo. Ya ma gbo pasi bolo lo. Ate ga ma totu agbode. Agbo pasi bolo lo. Agbode le ju e. Le ga wa kodui. Agbode le ju e. Agbode le ju lo ate ga igba melo.
Ebe igbo fichelo. Ego po.
Ate ga gbo lo. My Lord, today. I love my Lord.
Dama gbaja mo fi gbọ́rọ̀ gbẹdẹgbẹdẹgbẹdẹ. Ìṣe ni ayé ìdáná dúró.
So, Nana Humatella, I'm doing this for you because you have to do it, and it is my responsibility to do it for you. When things happen for you, buy me a Land Cruiser car. Nana Humatella, mais il va être meilleur. But ça doit se procrastination. Et dorole ngogbenaire. Ne pas menaire. No ba menaire. Et nous jejina inu agbe. E pon ngogbe yi keke me jejire. Ya ba takbe. Nana Humatella bede. Ya ble gboju de ka. Afre kokoro. You buy one goat, one black chicken, one white chicken with gunpowder, a gallon of palm wine, 2 bottles of beef dry gin, corn flour, and 2 calabashes. Come and say thank you. Plus any money that he himself feel comfortable to give you. Yes. Never melo. Ache. Never melo. Ache. Never melo. Ache. Never melo. Ache. Ne ya tere na dilo. Ne ya tere na dilo. Ne ya tere na dilo. Adi. Ne ya ade. Tu gala bona ore. Ma gokulu ma gbeja gokulu nule toro. Ade ni dilo. Voncujovi, Alani Kotokure, let me give you the I will make a job, hallelujah.
Pak bet nana bet diri. Apa biar aku, anak aku malu biar aku biar mana aku ada meja hana yo, gaji beda aku na yo.
Meja hana yo. Gaji beda aku na yo. Ada aku na ubu mo. Ubu kodo lo. Ada aku no nyaga. Ya wele fi. Na onye ke bia so bodo akolo so awo. Amanya ka go du kai ni.
Ibo to e noi le.
Ah ne ke bo ba ibo o ba ga ke.
Ano we me ba.
Ke ni ru na hi mate la be no nu he me.
Ache.
You home? Hey.
At the phone, one.
The viewing
Where you buy me?
I think the guy do but yeah.
Get all of them from the Tiolo. We're going to
The guy do but you.
We are going to bath at the water. When you are bathing, make your wish. If you want to marry 10 women, talk.
Wait.
If you want to be a rich man, talk. If you want to be a rich woman, talk. Huh? If you want your joker to work for you, talk. If you want your joker not to work for you, talk. If you want to go Solomon, talk. If you want to be sleeping every day, talk. Sleep like Lamin, talk. If you want to sleep like Lamin, talk.
That's why I stay young. That's why I stay young forever.
Is it? So it is up to you.
This is today. The day is
Different.
it's just open.
Let's say, but the document can you like
That day is looking
well.
different. If we talk in the response, we talk in the response, we talk in the response. Then you know say now you know say it's a power day for him, but talk. They carry him.
Oh, I know.
If you want to your boyfriend to marry you proper,
Talk.
Oh,
even if you marry him,
we have a battle. Thank you. You are correct. Thank you. Yes. Hey, I'm going to kill you.
Uncle Sam. I told you, me.
I don't like that.
So I come back with
Imagine.
Oh, you like
Everywhere you go, your kids everywhere, they spread it to the will go have food somewhere.
Let's go manage. That's what you still got little. From Bato Galego. Don't be as much. Let's go. No, so very strong at the. Luciano say Havana Ola Okada Ojoma Uba Eya Dameda Webebe Dewu Eya Dedu Awo Eya Dameda Webebe Dewu Eya Dedu Awo road contractor. That's it. Go down on that. Young Belly. Oh, for 4 years. Oh, cover. You made your point. You did it. Oh, could you make a yellow bay? It's wrong. Yeah. A yellow. Why you do a yellow bay? Yes, sir. They said, come and flip off. I went to a woman and even call it.
He came and he left again. Aligo lapi. Aligo ideo.
Kanye do the school also. I'm a galaxy. Gato le boy mi lo. The school was gato. I can't do motor. Give me a secret if you have.
Yes.
No, for the past 5 days I've not slept. I've not even drank alcohol. Today I'm drinking. Yeah, I don't come here, I don't drink. That's my house, we don't drink alcohol.
Oh, Papa, you have alcohol.
I don't open alcohol. in the pit already.
Mama deh.
Your stomach or my stomach? I've eaten here. Come chop, like your stomach.
So I know they say the house will say Pata if we for top one, then your Pata no say to chop some. Why do you chop? Yeah, they chop. You know be that time is matter. the same thing. This one be from Pattern who are doing. Who be the house where I will put down to the point. Then I keep up for 30 Africa. Africa.
The shrine. So please, I'll pour libation to the spirits and the voodoos that my ancestors, and then after that we can go on with the questions and answers. Is everything okay with the shrine?
Yes. The clubhouse though, we can't hear you on clubhouse.
You can't hear me on Clubhouse?
Yes.
But the Clubhouse is on. But then, okay, I don't know why you can't hear me on Clubhouse.
Okay, now we can hear
Okay,
you.
Lamin,
We can hear
Fish.
We can hear you now.
Okay. Kadi is saying that she. Okay, good. Okay, Kadi, how are you? I'm also very well. Thank you very much for joining. How is it? Yes. And how is Cameron and Angie? We thank God. Okay. I think with this, it should be long enough. Yeah.
Yeah, I've actually sent it to you. But his phone is with Papa, so I'll send it to Antonio too.
So here, because we brought so many voodoos from the house, and we cannot do the life without praying to them. You know, at the shrine, I only pray to Abochi, and then we continue. But here, these ones have traveled with us to Europe, and they have been feeling cold. So I need to give them some warm alcohol and see how they will talk. Your manga so when is a manga kitty kata manga ese joto ame joto se na no ame se ke no ame o ma no fe vi doko na fe vi o ma no fe vi me bi na doko na fe vi o gbe na doko na me bi na no ma no fe vi o gbe na o se kokori se da ta tia ese gla ame gla ese joji ame joji ese no ame no e me do ago ma yo she me ha fura so ko se mi fura so ti me do ago meio abraças, meus já dentro do eu tá dentro também vi meu corpo. O ver só tão ver só tão ver só para eu e meu menos hoje ainda sou cacá de casa hoje André e não me eu me minha toda meio essa sala eu não pode dar mano a boa a druco to colher o eu com uma boa pero todo no lecho ofi oto he ko fi atra tablet pe yo mi ti yo to mo ba to ba bu to ra ko asa pasa ni to nyo ko to ko shi nyo ko to kere ku me yo mi da ji me lo mi yo ro ya te me yo to me ta pa tu je po dia kana chwe tene no biando bana ko ne ba ko ko yo buka ko ko yo zangu yo pide na ko ya kwa e nya te if you go to la tata la chabro ni mi amete mu ni to mena ni kama yo dagbe yo to ke geje be papa sese to go me yo brahini me yo bochi me yo be foli ko mra ke do ku che kuma ko ga to go yo ba kwa me yo ko ne ko so ku aku bia yo no ko so go ku fo ni ko geje tasi na mo si tu jam ko so bra ko bra mama ni ko be ba to go nya ko ku fi to go nya ku bia me insa agbo oduna fa nombro we yo ko yin Celestine ya wa ku bia Catherine ku bia fo ni se ko do fo ni ya be na ya ku to me ne fa na mi ya na gbogbo ne fa na mi gbe ni mo sia me yo mi aso o kwa chicha tu fa ku bia Cecilia akpe ne eka tepe mensa to abu na ka gbe ko da be vida ba se da be jima le mi o buga ke nya tepe me yo awu tu ji boko tu ji me yo kini ha se ko ji da ba asu bara na me yo ra te sia paprazo me yo me yo boko ada fli so fa hu agbo bi boko afa cha wa joge ekuto me ne fa na mi lo me yo ho no ho le va ko ho no ho le gbe abega to gba maze me yo mi da ekuto me ne fa na ni bo ya tepe mi le apo ta mi awe le ko mi awe na be le ko yo wo ni le gbe ji ko gbe ji no wo ne no apeja ko apelo mu wo na le nya yo kafra da ni asi ne ba do ne ba ma sasa gbe ji ko gbe yi ne ba ya me le ji me le nya yo do me yo to we na ni tre tu le jita to we Abraham ji me no le chani me yo mi apete ke ma la ago do na ni do kuto me ne fa na mi na go me ne fa na do ya me yo ni ma vie pa mare le Daniel vie le agbaro me na bodo apene fa gbe ne fa nya tepe ame yo no ha ore ni me na ha o agbe ji me yo bi do o me yo jo pata jo ma ku afoka me vole me chi me vole fu do me bere ko ko to fo me do me do me to ayo mo di o to abi ko na pe me ni le pe me to ba jo tu so pe bo no tepe ka jo pata be le ha ju bo ba jo ni jo pata o pe fia jo pata me tro ma be da mo lo abi fa be ni di na jo pata ne no afi mi a jo lo jo pata jo pata ya tepe me yo amesi me bo ji tu to we de da ba pe ju bo lu ajima ogboju tó lọ́jọ́ tó ń kọ́ mẹ́ balẹ̀ tí fáfá mi ló balẹ̀ jó náà pé fò àgbo sáfàtẹ́ mi yọ àti gẹ̀rí mi yọ góòlù mi yọ náà kékeré àlàáfíà kàtẹ́fẹ́ ẹ̀mẹ́ afánàbọ̀ afánàbọ̀ bàjẹ́ tó pẹ̀ tọ̀ sọ̀rọ̀ mẹ́ta pàdé mẹ́yọ́ parí gbẹ méjì eku méjì wọlé méjì lọ́sọ méjì wọlé méjì abúlé méjì akala méjì gbúdá méjì sá méjì ká méjì túrúpẹ̀ méjì túlá méjì lẹ́tẹ̀ méjì tẹ́ méjì fún méjì pẹ̀lú tse túlá mi yọ kílẹ̀ bọ́ kí lè kó àtọ́wá ní òwú àmì tọ́wá ní adé me yo mi ni atona budo me yo ala jadu akanyanga ni kudo ya si beje nka de biora to si ne ku alo no si ne ku ala bisa ma de ka ko bi le jabo lo ba banye ji bi le jabo lo ba banye ji jadu kotoko je to gbe o je to si ne di to ne ba na si ne ba do yi la o le Europe le fi le Bremen ba ko yi ni ala o le Utrecht ni to ne je fiato je gato koto asi be de egbe jorobo asi basi de egbe nya si egbe ro na alo do jogo me mi ro fo mi anyo si ne mi do ne je doji koto okay now I am done with the Lamin.
Me no kwe la funu dalo. Ome no.
So I'm welcoming all of you to. If you can hear me, just okay, Shama. Okay, thank you all. Thank you all. Okay, so thank you all. I think we are limited. It's not like home, but we'll do our best so that I can get to you. Get me the questions. That's like also. We'll be taking the question, but then people on Clubhouse, you can talk to going through the to transmit through Zoom and other platforms. Yeah, greetings, Shamba. How are you? I'm good too. All of us are fine. Here, myself, Kofi, and all the team that are with me, we are all fine.
If you have, can you no, not join. Can you relate to him? If they have to open the door, just tell him that he didn't have his phone so that I speak with you for a while.
Oh, very nice, very nice. We were. Yeah, you fed your essay and everything went well. Okay, we thank God. We thank God for that. Yes, and this is the. I mean, now you can feed your own essay on yourself. That's the best, you know. I cannot always be there. Once I do train you to some point, then you have to take it from there. And I'm very happy that you were able to do it successfully. Thank you. Yes, Senna told me, but I honestly have never had that experience before. But you know, when you are feeding a voodoo and it laid egg, or yeah, that means something is still in front of you, something good, because egg is a new generation, new things coming up. So that's what I was telling Senna, that you should keep the egg with the seven. He said, Afa said you should cook it and eat. So that's fine. Okay, okay, that's fine. That's fine. That's fine. Yes. Yes. Anybody on Clubhouse again wanted to ask me any question, please? Or if Shamba, you have any more question, please. Let's go ahead because we are really tight here. Yes. Who am I speaking with? Ra. Yes. How are you? I'm good, and welcome to question and answer session on revolution. Yes, all the other forms are used with the palm kernels, which is the afa, as we call it, the ifa, hunku, as it is called in Ewe. Hunku means the seed of God. Hunku is used most of the time when you are being initiated, during the time you are being initiated. Then the opele, as in Yoruba, they call it opele, we call it pele, or gumaga, as it is called in Ebe. So that also is used. But when you are getting initiated into AFA, the initial divination tool will be the kernels. And then also when you are feeding your fa, the time you feed your fa, because the fa and the pele or the gumaga will all be fed together. But when we are going to find out what Odu on which we are after feeding Afa, because Afa has to tell you that, okay, now that I have eaten, these are the things that are going to be in the year for you, what you should be careful about and what you should go for. That time we use the kernels or the muku for the divination. Apart from the muku, and or Gumaga, as it is mostly called, or Pene, as it is called originally. We have the divination of what do you call it, the kola nut, but not the normal kola nut. There is one kola nut that we call a V in Ebe, and that kola nut is split into 4, into 3, into 5, into 7, and sometimes even you can even get 8. The paper, tissue paper. So you will use that one, but they use the 4 phase to do divination, and then when they open it, they will say certain words like, "I'm removing the eye of anybody who will who would put their eyes on me," and then after that, all the not 4 pieces, one piece, but it's broken into 4. Then the words are said on it, and then it is thrown. And when it is thrown, how it falls, that will show what is going on and the meaning. So that is used in every voodoo divination or in every Afa divination. We also use the cowries. We have the 4 cowries, and we have the 7 cowries that are also used in every divination. And apart from that, we also have the mirror. The mirror, the magic mirror, which is used in divination. And also we have something called Agbale, which is a book. It's an empty book, and maybe something is written inside just to make sure that something has been written in it. And this also, there's a divination on that. I have them all. So when you open the book, it's just a book from the store, but then you can look inside and start telling or divining. And then, of course, the last but not the least is the water divination, where water or drink, when a person fetches water in the calabash and they throw it on the ground, they can divine and tell what is going to happen and what has happened in the past. Or sometimes people look inside the water in the calabash and will be able to divine. So there are so many other forms of divination in Ewe Voodoo. But I am not privy to all of them, but this what I know is what I'm talking about. Yes, so please go ahead if you have any following up question on that, if that makes sense to you. That makes a lot of sense. Thank you so much. You're welcome. The follow-up question that I have is, I noticed that there's a use of two Umaga for divination. Mm-hmm. No, usually, even with that, we have even 3 Gumaga for divination. You know, when you throw the Gumaga, the first Odu or Afadu that falls will be the Duno. Dudada means the major, like us in, if you talk about tarot cards, then that will be the major arcana. That it will fall straight away, and then that one will be laid to show the indication that this is the major Afadu or Afa Odu that has fallen. The other Gumaga or the other Bele is to be checking whether the oracle that has fallen, the Odu that has fallen, is for or against, whether it is in the future or it is in the past and what is happening currently. That's why the first one will just be left, usually on the left side of the diviner, and then the other chain goes to find out whether it is for or against, whether it is in the future or it is in the past. So some people use 3. So when they throw the first Odu, they put it in the middle, then they throw the right side to see whether it is 4, and then they throw the left side to balance the right. So this is how, so some people even use 3 Gumaga in their decision. So every Afa, the first Odu falls and nobody touches it again, and we don't use that Gumaga again to
to do reading. We use the other one to be finding out which one, whether we are in the future. The matter or the case that the Afa is talking about, is it in the future or it is in the past? You see, if you have the opportunity of having two, that's fine. If you have only, if you happen to have only one, that means when you throw the bumaga, you must write it down in your book. Then you know what is the main Odu or Afandu that has fallen. Then you use the same single bumaga in case that's what you have. Then you throw again. So you must throw 3 times to be able to know whether the case is in the future or is in the past. That is what that's why it is thrown, it is done. But if you have 3, you throw each one time. If you have 3 of them, then you throw each one only 1 time. Then if you have 2, you throw the first Odu and then you use 1 to throw 2 other times to balance what you are seeing in the first oracle. You're welcome. Thank you too for the question. We are all learning. Yes, sir, we have Professor Voncujovi in the house, and he wanted to ask a question. So, Prof, go ahead.
Do they also use chicken for divination? Because sometimes I see people throw chicken and the side on which it falls is red in one way or the other.
Yes, you are right. We use chicken to do divination, but usually the time that we use the chickens to do divination is when you are feeding the voodoo or the bokor, and you want to know whether the chicken, the voodoos or the spirits or the energies, call them whatever you like. Some people even call them gods. If the gods have accepted this, then the way the chicken will fall, that will tell you what the gods are saying. If the chicken falls on its back with the legs up, means they have accepted everything, means the door and the gates are open. When the chicken goes down with its chest on the floor and the wings covered down, it is said that the spirits are covering you. They have accepted your offering and they are covering you. When the chicken falls on the left side and before dying, it is saying that you are having a problem with a woman. And when it falls on the right side and the left wing is up, then you have a problem with another man. That's what that's how it's read. Yeah. So sometimes when you kill the chicken, it may jump around, turn around until the final fall is where we will finally tell you what is going on in your life. Thank you too, Prof. We are very grateful. And let me go on to Facebook now. I have a self-sulfuric, say Ashe, self-sulfuric, okay, say Ashe. And then they said the Igbo or the Igbo, Oku, are the original Kemetian Egyptians and Sumerians. They've never been ruled. Ashe, Igbo, Ashe, Obatala, Ashe. Okay, thank you very much for that. We are very grateful. You know, one thing I don't teach here is I don't teach about Kemet. I don't teach about Sumerians. I teach about my people, the Ewe people. And that is the voodoo that I learn. I don't have any information about Kemet, and I don't have any information about Samaria. What has come to my people and my ancestors have given to me, that's the one that I depend on. I don't have any ancestors in Kemet, and I don't have any ancestors in Sumeria whatsoever. But then, you know, this thing is very interesting. Thank you. So Ferric is saying, and Yoruba too, okay, thank you. And can Said Okay, thank you very much. I think self-suffering is the first time we are seeing you on our question and answer section, and you have so many things here to say. Um, okay, let me go up and see. Yeah, I said, and notice the bottom gap dress that is Metic Nigerian land of the original kings and queens. Thank you very much. That's very great, and thank you for the contribution. We are talking about practical things at African Magic Temple. Well, whatever is not practical to us, we don't touch. That's how we teach here. We believe in practicality. We don't just believe in things that people say and you cannot practicalize. For us at African Magic Temple, we believe in practicals. When you talk about anything, poor connection. So if you are discussing anything about African tradition, very practical. I am a person who doesn't really rely on theory, because I want to see and I want to experience. Then I believe, or then I know. I don't need to believe. Then I know that this is what I'm seeing and this is what is happening. So most of the time people come with a whole lot of stories and all this, but for me, if it is not practical, I don't teach. I teach practicality, and I think most of my students around the world will attest to that when you learn from me, you don't go back to chemetic and this that. It's not necessary. We want to solve problems now. And big sister Oluchi, is a great evening, Papa, with peace and love. Thank you very much, big sister. How have you been? Yes, I'm in Europe, but unfortunately I can't come to Paris. But then we'll be in touch. Thank you very much. And then Sulfuric is Ashe, and then peace to your sister Oluchi. Thank you. And then Sulfuric is saluting. I think the whole of the first questions are all from self-sulfuric. So Ashe again here, self-sulfuric is in Nigeria is the original of the first kings and queens. That's okay. It does not matter whether it's original or it's not original. I am not Nigerian. I am an Ewe person. And my Ewe people also will say that they are the original. So, I mean, that is not the point I'm coming to discuss here, whether they are original or they are not original. Whoever is original, that does not mean anything to me, honestly. It can mean so much to whoever, but for me, I'm teaching practicality here. My people also had things all along. And how can you say Nigeria is the original land of kings? Then that means Nigeria was the only country that ever existed. No other country had existed. And how can you say that? It's a little history lesson. I don't need history here. I'm sorry. Please, I don't need these things. I want to spend time to teach people. I'm sorry. I'm not going to read any of your questions for now. I want to get people who want to say something that will be very useful to them. I think all the whole of these first things are all you. So, I mean, you take other people's time. People would want to ask very relevant questions that will be very useful to them. But then when you take all this telling the history of Igbo and Yoruba, we are not saying Yorubas are not great. Always learn Afa or Ifaro, Yorubas, and we have always attested to that in our teachings. It's not that now before you have to tell us who has the originality or not. Please, let me teach people who want to learn. I have a big sister Oluchi say, thank you very much. And yes, Papa, some of it with tea fusion, also by looking into the tea. Yes, that's very true. That is very true. Some people do divination by looking into the tea cup and how the tea leaves and then the clover and all the things. So yeah, there are so many different ways of doing divination. But I mostly talk about what I can explain and what I personally I didn't practice. I don't like talking about them because I won't be able to teach or explain. Thank you very much, big sister. Then Steph Sofric is again. Okay. I don't know. Okay, let me take a question on YouTube. If there's any question on YouTube, let me go on to YouTube. I mean, get this. Or you are starting the video again. What is going on? And they don't understand that voodoo is a very practical thing. It is not how much story you tell that makes you become a voodoo addict or a good priest. It is how much you can connect with nature through the voodoos that you work with. And if they are working for you, no one will tell you that they are working for you. You would know. So me personally, I don't dwell on theories of Kemet, Egypt. No. I ask Abraham that stories to tell, but please give me chance so that I can teach people who are ready to learn. You have learned so much and you know so much. And if you are using it and it is working for you, fine. There are so many other people who are looking for ways to also. This is my platform. I decide. I think big sister Oluchi say, Papa, we are doing great, like always, Papa. I know you can't come to France and strong. Not too tired today. People on Clubhouse, please, you can go. I don't think we have so many questions on YouTube, but I saw Toby Jibeza on YouTube. Any questions from Clubhouse, please? Yes, Senna. Yeah. Okay. We are fine and doing well. Hello, Senna. Hello, Senna. First line is here. Antonio is here. Selka is here. Professor Besboy is here. We are all here. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Stay well. Mm-hmm. So, do you have any question to ask, Senna? Okay.
Yeah, limiting the bandage yes, ours is also.
Anyway, we came on the 11th of this month. We came all from through Amsterdam to Bremen, and they saw the are just things that we have. This has shown us that this voodoo work had not been from today. And most of the things like a Jidwe, Jiku,
That's very interesting. So there's another museum in Utrecht that has some of the collections there.
yeah, there was even we even went to Hamburg. They also have voodoo collections in the Hamburg too. They have a museum there too. And I believe that
Actually, we will go to
Limburg,
another city close to Limburg, to see these two museums.
So that's Antonio saying we'll be going to two more
On Wednesday.
On Wednesday, two more places to see other voodoos that have been kept there. So there are a lot of African voodoos that has been here in Europe for some time now. Yeah.
Wow.
So tomorrow we have a workshop to discuss our observations, what we have observed so far, what do you think about them, and the future of this project that brought us here.
So that was Professor that was talking. So we'll be going to see. Okay, good.
Good afternoon, Ghana. How are you doing?
Oh, I'm fine, thank you. I'm just a little cold. The place I've come to. I'm wearing my sweaters and my jacket. I'm okay. Thank you very much.
It's been a while. I see you these days on Facebook, but I'm very glad you're moving on smoothly. And thank God for that.
Thank you very much.
All right.
Thank you very much.
Okay, anybody else on Clubhouse that wanted to say anything? Creation. Okay, Zeal, okay. Okay. So,
now, can you hear me? Can you hear me?
yes, Zeal, I can hear you.
Oh, okay. All right. I was saying hello to everyone, and said I was laughing because it's so cute that you're cold. Be back to LA soon. It'll warm up. I just wanted to ask if the talk is going to be recorded, Mr. Bokor?
Yes, I think the talk we're going to talk tomorrow definitely to be recorded, but then I don't know whether it is going to be allowed to be shared with everybody.
We can ask.
Okay, when we
can do a Zoom and then send a link for those who want to take part.
Okay, so we'll find out. Yes, we have to find out whether when they want to make, if they want to make it public, then of course you can all have a look at it, or maybe when it is recorded, we can also share it later if it is allowed. Because you know these are museums and these are very special things, and the trustees do not really want some of these things to be public, and it is their it's their property, and it is up to them whether they allow to share it with the world or not. So we will need to have permission if we want to share some of the
conversation it's been a big topic with and for a few years now. Even when I was there challenge and agenda in the Milton and the arts about getting certain things back for Africa from European Union.
we are going to give our opinion, taken seriously, maybe something will start to happen. Maybe not immediately, but we hope that in the future, some of these our traditional spiritual artifacts and voodoos, as we call them, would be released so that we can send them back home. But it is not going to be immediately. There's a whole lot of talk going to go on until we people from the academia and then the people who are in charge of the museums, and then of course we, those who are practitioners, if there is a common understanding between all of us, then I think something will happen in the future.
And we can also bring tomorrow the opinion of the group now that we had a discussion with the whole community. Let's go well beyond
yes, so
vows and all the other instances.
The things we are discussing today, we will also bring them up tomorrow in our talk and see how it goes. Because you are in California, people are in Middlebury, people are in different places around the world, and you have your everybody has a desire. So we'll put all this on board and see what will come out of it.
Yeah, when I was there, it seemed like maybe just the people that I met, because some of them were Nigerian, they were talking about, so I don't know if that means that the conversation is really big around the Ento, or if they just had a connection to the Ento objects more. And so
it's all together. Whether it's the Joka and Joe objects or the Afar objects or whatever it is, they are African objects in that sense. So it doesn't really, we are not going to separate to say only the Jokas should go back and other things should not go back, because they had all, I would say, they have been in prison for far too long. Yeah, thank you all.
observations of the voodoos there within this larger context of bringing back African items to the motherland again and to serve a purpose.
Yeah, Sana, you are right. We had actually discussed that, and I just like what you were saying, I also spoke about that, because the objects, as people may call them, to us they are not objects, but they are entities with consciousness, and they can decide on their own. And in fact, one thing we did not ask is I didn't want to jump before the drum beat, so I did not ask them if they want to go back home, because if I do and they say yes, then that means I have to start something, or we have to start putting pressure on people. But with time, when understanding comes to all of us, I believe very strongly, then at that moment we will ask the voodoos if they want to go back. But then I was telling Professor Gabua that just like Black Africans who have traveled into the diaspora, if you ask some of them to come back home, they won't. So I don't know whether the voodoos I don't know whether all the voodoos to want to come back to Africa. So when that time comes, we'll ask them, those who want to go back, and if the people care of them and the trustees allow them to go back, we'll bring them back. But those who wanted to stay or want to stay, for sure, they can stay because they have been here for far too long. They may not want to go back to Africa, or they may want to go to Africa. We will ask the Voodoos themselves to speak one at a time. Each should tell us what they want us to do for them.
But yeah, it's very, very interesting. Right now, and it's true. We cannot sit here now and if you ask those who don't know what to do Africa, either say they want to stay or they want to stay, and it's not up to us to decide.
Right.
Even me coming here to America and go and ask all the design which one is coming, which one is not coming. Some of them say to be at the back, some of them say to carry the car.
Yeah. Because if we treat them as objects, then we will decide everything for them. But if we are treating them as entities and spirits that are beings that are inanimate yet they are existing, then we will consult them before taking any decision. I think we are still having the challenges with the internet, but
Can you show the video?
yes, if they have it already, if they have it, and then we have people on Zoom. I can see Professor Koku Azamande, and then Dr. Ohiniko Mause Tofa. And if they wanted to ask any question or do any contribution, thank you very much, Professor Ohiniko, and then also Koku Azamande. Yes, if you have any contribution, these are the people of the team, Koku Azamande and Dr. Ohiniko Mause Tofa. They are all part of the team that we are working on this Leba and Joka project. And Koku Azamande speaks German, French, even, and other languages. And then also so is Professor Ohiniko Mause Tofa, who can translating the German into English or into Ewe, into German, and so into many different things. So we have a very, very strong team here. People who can really read the German and understands it very well, like the Germans themselves, and be able to know what the Germans have written about the Ewe people, and they are the team who are doing that. And of course, we have a Silka here. Where's the phone? Okay, let me take my phone. Can you see? Okay, they put the video is off because of the network. Okay, so we have Silka here, who is actually the person who is in charge of the day-to-day upkeep of the Voodoos. And she has done a very great job. And sometimes I look at some of the Voodoos, and they have been here for 120 years plus, yet and more, and they are still very fresh, and they don't look like they just came. They look like they just came yesterday, and very, very interesting. They had been, and the Voodoos themselves, when we were doing the reading, they told me that I should thank her. And I didn't know that she was a Monday born, but they said I should thank Ajo on their behalf. And then I was thinking somebody else was the Ajo before I got to that she was the Ajo they were talking about. So the Voodoos are very active, and she has really taken a very, very good care of them. Yes, and go ahead.
Okay, I have two questions. The first was that I wanted to ask Silva, that's been her experience working with the groups. Has she had any personal experience or any kind of connection with them? Anything which you think was a connection with them? And then the second question was that on this topic of what are the negative consequences of taking them without the permission of the owner from the place where it was to anyways? Are there any possible negative consequences of things like that? It's difficult.
Okay. can talk about whatever experience she had taking care of them. She's been given the task to look after the Vodus. So a curator, yeah, I think that's the word, curator of the museum of the this. So she probably may be able to tell if she had any personal experience with them. Then she can talk about that. Then we can go on to your second question.
So I'm a German curator, and I'm not involved to this kind of spirituality, but somehow I really feel connected to the objects that we've got at the museum, because I know how many stories they are telling, and I think that what unites us, that we are going for the, we call it entity, we call it object, but somehow it's there's one we're just talking about, and we try to find different perspectives on this, and so I never had fear or something like this. I really was interested in the objects, and since many years they are with me, and I try to work and to show them for the public and to try to explain about them. But now I learn much more than I ever learned before by reading books or something like this. So this few days we are really strong, and I really get a lot.
Thank you, Serka. So, Nuku, that's what Serka was saying, that she's having a very good connection with them. And since this past few days that we came and we were all working together, that has given her confidence, and also she has really understood more about them. But she had this feeling of taking good care of them, being the curator of the assets in the museum. So your second question of asking whether there are any consequences to those vodus. Some of the vodus were not taken by force. From our research, some of them were given to the missionaries voluntarily. Those who converted themselves into Christianity had given their some of the jokers or the legbars or whatever they were having to the missionaries on their own free will. Some also were bought from some spiritual people. And then, of course, some may probably be taken by force, but we haven't really seen the ones that were taken by force. With the history of how they came to be in the museum, it seems like people had given them out. You know, even today at home, somebody who is having some spiritual item, if things are not going on well for them, they'll go and throw it away or give it to some pastor who says they have power. I think there was this person. I'm not talking. Okay, look at the software actually. Abosom. A lot of people are giving their ancestral spirits and voodoos to him to burn. So it was in this same case, as far as our research and knowledge about since we came, this is what we are gathering. But we, being Africans, and seeing these things are here, we come to be at home. So that's how we feel. But some of them were the voodoos here. So the consequences will actually go to the people who had given them away. Yeah. And this is, we are talking about 100+ years. So those people's generation, we don't know whether they are suffering or they are enjoying. Of course, people who became Christian, and if you are a Christian and they send you to school and you come to Germany and become a citizen in Germany, will you be saying that you are suffering? Those are the things we have to look at in the days ahead of us to find out.
And also, according to what we found out, yes, some of the objects or some of the assets, the spirits expected the person who brought them to take care of them.
Yes, you are very true. Yes.
They haven't done. But the person is passed on. Speech, for example, has passed on.
Yes.
So we can know the consequences.
Yeah,
he passed on, I think, at the age of 69.
Which is quite an old age.
Yeah. So we don't know the consequences to his family for not feeding the spirit out now.
Yeah. But we cannot tell because we have not met the post, so you cannot tell whether there was some consequences or not, unless, of course, if we meet families of people who had brought these voodoos here, and also that when they were given to speech, who was the speech who was the man who brought the missionary was in the bando or where Usuta, Beki, Vedome, who brought someone, because most of the voodoos we met here are all Vedome voodoo. And so the person who gave it out, whether there was any consequences to their families or not, we don't know. But the spirits were saying that the spirit was giving certain instructions in order how to take care of them, but that hadn't been done. Maybe after speech or whatever, we don't know. So all these things, we are working on it, and with time, we'll be able to know exactly what is going on or what has gone on. Thank you, Nuku.
I think that's an amazing amount of information that you just shared because I mean, all of it is everything. It's a perspective that I hadn't considered the details. I just looked at the stereo and the like trajectory of the history and never thought about a lot of those things, like even giving away things. And all of this sounds so very, very cool and true, and it just further complicates the conversation, I think.
Yeah, you are very right, Zio. Yes, because in Italy, a lot of people thought that every voodoo that has come to Europe or taken by the missionaries were snatched from the missionaries. But then, with our few days of research and listening to stories, and also reading certain texts that showed us that they were not all of them were snatched away. Some were given away.
Yes, and having said that, we still have to continue with research to understand the context within which the objects were either given or not given.
Yeah.
Because that particular context was a colonial context, and you cannot separate religiosity from politics and from militarism at the time.
Business.
We also have trade going on, commercial activities. So within which particular context were people giving away their things? Is it to seek refuge, to seek refuge, survival, and were they coerced? Coercion is not only physical. Were they coerced psychologically, emotionally, coerced by economic situation, or what? Those are the kinds of things we should be able to understand in the long run. Because when you take today's context, people give away things because of economic hardship, not necessarily because of the context. They'll give away things of the family, valuable things of the family, just to get some money to survive a few days. So we have to understand the context within which the items were acquired and then transported. Of course, we also know that some of the missionaries collected these items that were meant to be burned, but they were not burned. Some were selected and taken away. So that's another part of the story, because according to one of the researchers, who as a professor, some people he interviewed were not even aware that objects were taken away
From their communities.
from their communities. And all they knew was that some the objects were meant to be burnt. And so we have, the nuances are many. We have to tease out all these things and have clear understanding of what transpired. Then we talk, we negotiate, we have common agreement, because as was intimated earlier, this is a time for us, maybe through these objects, we can build relationships, positive relationships that will ensure there's harmony between us and our neighbors of the world. When people come to understand our situation as normal human beings, away from the stereotypes that we had in the past.
Yeah, I think it's also advancing a conversation around
the nuances of colonialism and how the interactions between Europeans and Africans had so many different qualities. And I think being in the diaspora, being in the United States of America, I think it's incredibly important to understand and how these, I think the curator used the word entities, which I thought was a good word for an English speaker from the United States to use instead of objects. I don't know if it's the best word, but I thought it was a good word. And so, just the stories of these entities and also the story of Hutu and how it's changed and shifted as a result of colonialism.
Yes, Zia, you are very right. So we will continue dialoguing and then discussing and continue researching, and definitely and for sure we'll get some amicable understanding between all of us, our Africans, we as Africans, and also our European brothers and sisters. And I believe there will be a very final good outcome. Okay, Sena, you can be moderating from there. If there's any question from the clubhouse, let me know, because we want to go on to Zoom and see if we can interact with people on Zoom and also on YouTube and Facebook.
Okay, well, thank you. If there's anybody who has any questions about our first experience, the team's experience right now in Utrecht and Germany, working with some of the photo artifacts that were taken by German missionaries over a century ago, please feel free to ask your questions before Papa moves on to the crowd.
Okay, could you come and put me on?
Hello, Papa, the question.
Yes, Nuku again. Yes, go ahead, Nuku.
I also hear that they are like private collectors, or a lot of people, private collectors, these videos, these photos and other spiritual objects that is there any information about private individuals who may have bought stuff from the museums? Or is there information about things like that? Like that a lot of spiritual artifacts are also with private people, not only with museums.
Nuku, to that, your question, I don't know, because I have not met anybody who is having them privately. We came here because of museum, the artifacts or the spiritual objects or whatever you call them in the museum. So if people have this private collection in their individual homes and companies, I would not know. And that is not what we are doing right away. There is the possibility that some private collectors, but then some of the private collections were also donated to the museums. So I don't know. We have about 100 plus years of
the particular one that said that were collected by someone, Reverend Minister, who was working for the North German Mission Society.
Bremen Society, Presbyterian Church.
Yes. And Swiss, these collections in particular were the ones that brought us in. But we also went to Hamburg to look at other collections that were brought in by another person who served as secretary, or to whom Swiss served as a secretary at a point in time. But they were all within the Christian religious context of the North German mission in West Africa, particularly Togo, which included parts of the current Republic of Togo and the region of Ghana. But beyond that, perhaps this research will take us to understand or to observe collections that were brought in by private individuals, like traders, like soldiers, and so on. But we are yet to delve into that.
Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you, Nuku. Thank you very much. And I think I want to take some question on Facebook. Self-suffering is a yes, Baba. And then we have Mike Thomas here, who is a Taway. Does the Okpele also receive sacrifice and the Okpele the same as the Gumaga? Yes, the Okpele also receives sacrifices, and Okpele and the Gumaga Pele is the same thing. There's no difference. It's the same thing with different names. And then we went on to self-sulfuric again. He said, but it's very interesting though, Baba. Yes, I agree with you. Everything about Africa and Africans is very, very interesting. Yes. Yeah, whether they came from Kemet or they didn't come from Kemet, that is their story. But we, Aves, our days in Kemet probably dates back to thousands of years ago, and we are not going back to Kemet anymore. So my teachings are concentrated on what is happening now with my people and how to educate them to take hold of what belongs to them. So if I'm going back to be talking about Kemet, I will just be misleading them. That's why I don't put myself into the shoes of Kemetians. People who want to talk about Kemet, they are free to talk about Kemet. But for me, in my teachings, that's not my concentration. I want to concentrate on my people. So thank you very much. And then Sufarik again, I like how Baba has no ego. Thank you, Baba. Thank you too. Thank you very much. And we are all learning. So the volume a little low. They say the volume is a little low. We are having challenges here because of the internet that we are using. This is internet to what do you call it? A hotel that we are. Self-suffering is again saying, yeah, it's a history lesson. Yes, when we get to that, when the time comes for history, we'll talk about history. Now we talk about so please let's concentrate. And then we have so many history specialists. We have Professor Kabwa, who is in charge of the University of Ghana Department of History, Archaeology, and all this. He's sitting right here with me. But let me teach about the voodoo to my people. So we have Mike Thomas saying that. So please bear with me because I'm not at the shrine in Ghana. So it is not easy, but we are just trying to bring ourselves to you from here in Utrecht. So please. Yeah, Mike Thomas is saying, Papa, one of your initiates. This guy is disturbing me. One of your initiates, Jibeza, described last week that when Jibeza is not my initiate. Tabu Jibeza is an Bokor of his own before meeting me. I'm not the one who initiated him. Of course, I gave him Jopata initiation, but generally he had been an Bokor for a very, very long time, maybe more than 15 years before meeting me. So it's not my initiate as such. Yeah. So one of your initiates, Jibeza, described last week that when he initiated into Ifa and also into your temple, he felt certain types of energies. Could you please ask him to elaborate more on that experience? Thank you. Please, I don't think today will be the best time for Jibeza, Tobe Jibeza, to elaborate on his experiences because where I am, I'm having challenges with my internet and we are not in our normal domain and it is not that easy. We're just trying as much as possible to get in touch with you so that we can answer some of your questions. So maybe when I get back to my shrine in Ghana by the end of next week, God willing, we can talk about that. And I think Togbe Jibeza will also be listening, so he will be preparing to explain and elaborate what he has experienced by initiating into my Togbe Chopata. Maybe not get me YouTube and see if we have any this still working still? It's working as audio. It's not working. So then if it's not working, take it away. Okay. Go to the top. Okay, so we have on YouTube Tobe Dibeza Seso Kase, greetings and good day, Papa, and the AMT family. I hope you're all well. Yes, we are all very well. Thank you very much, Tobe Dibeza. And I think you might have been hearing someone asking me to ask you to elaborate on your experience when you became connected to African Magic Temple. So you had shared some information. Unfortunately, I am not privy to that information. So please, in my next week's discourse, I would want you to elaborate on that. So prepare. Thank you very much. We have a SB saying greetings, Bokor, Christopher, and AMT team. Thank you for sharing. I'm happy you had a safe and a productive journey. Yes, very, very, very good, Stephen. Thank you very much. Then we have the Ifadunke, the alchemist, saying greetings, Papa. If one gets divination and different rituals were done in a Vosa, if some manifested and others have not yet manifested, can we assume assume the other works are in progress or blocked? I would say that the other works are in progress in the sense that when you plant corn, it takes time for the corn to shoot itself out of the ground. And it is not also that very day that the corn shot itself out of the ground that you will be able to reap the corn and eat. But if you continue nurturing it, watering it, and cleaning the weeds and around it, one day you will be able to eat the corn. So if a Vosa was done for you, and some of the things started manifesting on the physical plane, then you should look at it that the rest will also manifest at their own, at the right time. So you have to have patience. And if I don't care again, is saying how long should one am I done? How long should one want to wait to contact Bokor, who has done the work to look into what is going on? It is up to you, depending on what the Bokor told you. There are some Bokors or spiritualists who tell you, oh, don't worry, when I do the work for you today, by tomorrow you will see changes. Those are camouflages. It's not real. Nothing in real spirituality is like magic. Real spirituality, especially African traditional spirituality and Ewe Voodoo, takes natural times to work things out. But if people start to give you a hope that, oh, don't worry, it will happen now, and then you go in for that, then you may be deceived. So I would say take your time, and if maybe after some time, let's say 2 months, and going to 3 months, and you haven't really seen anything, and nothing is happening, then you can contact the Bokor that has done the Vosa for you and tell them that this is what you are experiencing and you are not seeing changes. And there is probably that there was something that he did not see at the time when he was doing the divination. Those things may come in. I'm talking about my own personal experiences. When I was getting the mirror, I thought I had paid and everything was done, but when we were doing the mirror, it didn't go through. And then another reading was done, and I was told that I had seen that the person who did the Vosa or did the divination for you did not see at the time, or maybe that thing did not show itself. So you wait for a while, maybe 60 days, 8 weeks, and then you can go back to the Bokor and ask him to see, to look into it again and see what is not happening, what is blocking the way for you. So thank you very much, Ifadunke, the alchemist. And then we have a MYRC 79. Hello, why would German missionaries remove objects that they thought were pagan or I think you should ask the people who took. Not the one who brought these objects here, and not the people who are taking care of them are not the ones who brought them here. Who brought them had some. So the question is a very relevant question to ask because I don't know. Do you have something to say?
Well, what this question came up in our general discussion, and the point is that at the time, uh, we have different opinions. That some came in of Christ, and that this is evidence that the people turned against their own deities, and then they're giving this to us. So they are in the form of trophies, not for Germans, but for the church,
The missionaries.
the missionaries who brought them back. Others to claim that they brought them for educational purposes, to educate the public about who our forebears were, what the African cultural situation was at the time. And that educational thing we also heard is probably fading now because the European youth now know better. They've traveled widely, they've interacted with Africans. So the museums are no longer using these things to educate about the primitivity of Africans and so on at the time as it was portrayed. So there are different reasons why missionaries or other people will bring those objects back to Germany. We are yet to unravel all the reasons.
Thank you for the question, my RC79. And then we have Benny Moswani in South Africa. I say, Apeka Kaka for the transmission today. Learning a lot. Thank you very much, Benny. I'm very grateful that you were able to join this. We have Thomas Jigbezan Sesoka again. Whoever gave that question is not fully correct in understanding me or my background. I apologize for any questions this may have had. Oh, topic design is fine because people have different views, and you may put a situation out there, a comment out there, and somebody may understand it in a different way. So I'm not taking it serious. So don't really bother yourself to worry about it. Maybe when we are back at the shrine in Ghana, we'll take a look at it, and I will also look at the question, and then I will be able to answer the person properly for you. Thank you very much for that. Correction, I apologize for any confusion this may have had. Oh, don't worry about it. You know who I am. I'm not bothered about this, so thank you very much. Then we have Ifa Dunke, the alchemist, saying thank you. And thank you to Ifa Dunke. Thank you all for joining this section and making it very active. I'm very grateful. You know where we are at the shrine for 2 weeks. It seems like it's forever. So I have to come up to at least interact with you people so that you know that we are still thinking about you. Thank you all for joining today's section. Okay, somebody, Daniel on Zoom. So we're going to Zoom. Daniel on Zoom wanted to ask a question. So we'll go to Zoom.
Hi, Papa. How you doing?
I'm good, Daniel. How are you too?
Oh, I'm great. I'm great. So, I have a question about a concept in Ewe Voodoo. So, I live in the American South in Mississippi, and we have something called hoodoo. It's quite different from voodoo, but there's a concept of the crossroads, and you leave offerings at crossroads. Does leaving offerings at crossroads exist in Ewe Voodoo?
Yes, it does. Because when you are not a Bokor and you don't have Legba, Legba is assumed to be the god of the crossroads, where you are in a situation, whether physical crossroad or you are in a confusion stage and you don't know what to do. Legba is supposed to be the god or the energy or the entity or the spirit of the voodoo that you have to interact with. And it is signified or symbolized by the crossroads. So in African voodoo too, we use crossroads a lot in our offerings. Sometimes when you are giving offering to the witches, they may ask you to take it to a crossroad. Sometimes they will ask you to give it to Legba at your gate. Sometimes they may even ask you to take it to the garbage place and leave it there for them. So it depends on the reading and wherever the offering is supposed to be set. That's what you do. So people who are trying to use a crossroad in hoodoo as an American concept of hoodoo, I think the hoodoo, somebody spoke about it and I was trying to understand what does it mean, hoodoo, and they say it is a spiritual, this and that. But the word voodoo or voodoo has a very, very specific and a peculiar meaning, which means to give freedom to a community. Vo is liberty. Do is community. So when you say voodoo, which became voodoo means that which gives liberty to a community. So when they say hoodoo, what does it mean? I asked these questions and nobody was able to really give me the serious answer yet, but I'm still waiting to hear. But I think people were just trying to liken some word to our every voodoo and say, oh, we are practicing hoodoo and we are not practicing voodoo. Whatever it is, I mean, it's not my concern. I teach voodoo here. And in voodoo, yes, sometimes we leave offerings at crossroads, because when you leave an offering at a crossroad or sacrifice at a crossroad, you are actually involving legba. Means you don't have legba and you probably don't have anybody who has legba. So you do it there. That's how it is. So it is done in voodoo.
Okay. Thank you. Yeah.
Energies, also because energies come from different directions.
Yeah.
Not one direction. So when it's at the crossroads, it's likely to reach
everywhere.
Energies.
Right.
Okay. Because hoodoo, even though the hoodoo sounds like voodoo, the basis of much of hoodoo comes from Central Africa, Bantu people, specifically like mostly Congo people. So I just wanted to see if there was some similarities in the physical. I knew of Legba and the crossroads. I know about that for years. But just the physical crossroad where you put offerings at, that's what I wanted to know. And you answered my question very deeply.
Thank you very much, Daniel. Thank you too, Daniel. I'm very grateful for that question. And then again, we have a MYRC 79. Oh no, Ifadunke Akemi say thank you, Papa. Yeah, thank you too, Ifadunke. Then we have MYRC 79. So Papa, Senna talked about a store that he visited in America that provides good voodoo. He did not tell us which store it is. Yes, actually, that store was. I
think it's another one he posted on Instagram. It's in Brooklyn.
Okay. It's in Brooklyn. Senna is hearing, as we say, maybe he will put it up there for you to know, because I've not been to America.
The one I know is in Harlem.
There's one in Harlem too, and I just saw, I think I took the picture yesterday or 3 days ago.
It's between 146th and Nicholas 8.
Say there is one place in Harlem between 146 and
Nicholas 8.
Nicholas Avenue. Yeah.
By the subway.
By the subway, so you can find the MYRC rather. And then we have my friend Fatima Friday here. Greetings, Papa. Thank you for your teachings. How do you know the difference between your intuitions and your feelings? Because sometimes feelings can be misleading. Thank you, Bokor. Okay, it is very difficult to know what your feelings are and what your intuitions are. But when you are initiated, your intuitions, they kept repeating themselves. They come and they go back. Then they come again. Then they go back. They come like flashes. And that is intuition. And if you are smart enough to grab it and walk on it, and you get practical results, then you know. The next time when such feelings or intuitions come, you can differentiate them between your feelings. Feelings will come and later make you sad and you become emotional. So intuition is actually leading you, but sometimes if you are not really, I won't say smartness, but you have to pay attention, then you can know which one is intuition and which that is feeling or emotions. But once you are initiated properly, when that feeling comes, you tune into the spirits that you are initiated into and ask them this feeling that you are getting, or this, yeah, let's call them all feelings first. Whether this feeling that you are having, is it real or it is just something that is passing by? And the entities that you have been initiated into should be able to answer you and give you the correct direction. And then you know. And if you follow it, you will get answers. And when answers come, then you come to know that your feelings are intuitions. So, Fatima.
And the Sena sent us the name of the shop. So it's called OWA, OWA, African Market in New York. The website is OWA, OWA.
Antonio is reading the Sena sent it. Sena, why won't you just type it into the YouTube? This is so that other people can read it. It's OWA Lamini and what?
OWA African Market.
OWA African Market. So MYRC. They say it's called OWA African Market. So with a K. Okay. So please, the African is K I R I K A, Africa. Yeah, like how African Magic Temple is spelled. Okay. Okay, Christopher Voncujovi, it's called OWA African Market in New York. Okay, Kofi had typed it from my other listen. Thank you very much for that. And Fatima, also thank you very much. I think intuitions are things that come and go, and you need to study your intuitions to know that they are not just feelings. It takes time to master it.
Feelings are ephemeral, they do not last long.
Feelings, as Professor Gabwa is saying, feelings don't last long, but there are things that come and then go. So, but intuition kept ringing, and then it will go, then it will come back again. So when you strike it, you get a gold out of it. Yeah, now we have Professor Ohiniko saying that Togbe listening to you. I think I saw it on his, you see, on Ohiniko's list that listening to you, but it has gone from my screen. I can't see it again. Thank you very much, and thank you, everybody. And where are we now? We can go back to Zoom and see if there's anybody there with any more questions to ask us. Let's go to Ohiniko Mause Tofa, your microphone, and then you can ask me a question, please. I think they have to ask from the other side to unmute, right? And we have Fatima Friday say thank you so much, Bokor, Christopher. Thank you to Fatima. I'm very grateful. Thank you. Thank you. I think there is no one on the what do you call it, Zoom that wanted to ask any question. So can we go back to Facebook? I will not be very long today because it's a challenge. So please bear with me. Whatever I think we are done with Facebook too. We don't have that much. We have self-created by Westerners, and hoodoo is the so-called black magic. Okay, thank you. Thank you. Self-sulfuric is saying the hoodoo is the so-called black magic. Thank you. Thank you. By Westerners. So it's Westerners who are calling a black magic hoodoo. So it's okay. We are learning. Everybody is learning from somebody. No, because I don't know what hoodoo is.
As far as I'm concerned, from the scholarly production and paper,
what
was used to downgrading the talk bad about the spiritual practice of black people in the US went under the label of voodoo. So in the early 20s of the 20th century, they started also producing a lot of like graphic novels and comics to be derogatory.
Okay.
And those are also at the time where Haiti was occupied by the US.
Mm-hmm.
So there was a clear political aim.
It's a political
And there is
agenda.
a very, very informative article from a scholar, Yvonne Chiro, that talks exactly about what I'm talking about now.
Wow. Wow.
So
it's a chop by in person, always. So always, I think people wanted to give derogatory explanation to what the African is doing, and that's why every African ways of approaching divinity had always been called black magic, worshipping of the devil. But what they have forgotten is that the African is so grounded in God, so they cannot separate God from nature, and they cannot separate nature from God. So for us, everything that has been created in the universe has got a spirit that is emanating from the divine, or if there is God, emanating from that divine being. So nothing is without him, because before creation, if it is believed that God existed, so where does the universe come from? The universe, or the creation of the world, came out of him, or out of his emanation. So everything that is in the world, whether it's a stone or a grain of sand, is an emanation of that divine being. So everything is God in the end, because you cannot take a drop of water and drop it into the ocean and be able to separate that drop of water from the ocean. It becomes the ocean, and the ocean becomes that drop of water. So that's how the Africans had always looked at God. So Senna has said a revolution. Has said the shop is a botanical shop in New York called Owa African Market. So please take note of that, and then try to look for it. I believe very strongly when you search it on the internet, you'll be able to get their telephone number, and probably Google will show you the direction to the place. Thank you very much, everybody. I think, do we have any this thing on Kofi? Where is your iPhone charger? This thing is going down. Because it will just go off like that. You know, at my shrine, everything is just settled. Don't need to struggle. Aha. So, if anybody on Clubhouse wanted to.
Mr. Bokor, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
It's Seal, and I don't know a lot about hoodoo, but something has come up for a few months.
Yes.
I actually just bought a book yesterday. It's called 365 Days of Hoodoo, and the subtitle is Daily Root Work, Mojo, and Conjuration. And the woman has written about 3 or 4 books, and they're all kind of centered around New Orleans, voodoo, and like herbal healing and that kind of thing. She's also an artist too. Read the book, and her definition of hoodoo in the introduction is it's pretty vague. It's pretty vague. It's not even something to share. But just from talking to people a little bit and sitting in on a couple of Clubhouse and watching a few videos by academics, and 1 or 2 by practitioners, the way they talk about hoodoo is that, and what I've been told also, is that voodoo is really African. It's like a lot more African, and it's really about incorporating African spirits and communicating with and through African spirits. Voodoo is not that. It's Black folk magic. It's basically African American folk magic from a specific region in the United States, and it's a very, very blended tradition that may or may not have religious practices included into it, but it doesn't have to. So it can have aspects of Christianity, it can have aspects of indigenous peoples. Really, it takes from anywhere, anything. The same way that voodoo is about practical application, information. It's just a more open system that, maybe jokingly someone started the word hoodoo just to make sure that it wasn't confused with Vodou, because Vodou is so much more like more. I want to say religious because that's the best word to use in the English language, the way we think of it. And even though you say don't use religion to talk about Vodou, it's still the better word to use compared to hoodoo.
Okay.
Do you see what I'm saying?
Thank you. But we. Go ahead, Zim.
Applicable and available to make use of it for folk magic. And a lot of it is centered around, it's a lot of women participating historically, apparently. So a lot of stuff is centered around stuff you can find or use from your kitchen. I don't know if that's true, but that's what I heard some people say.
About hoodoo.
I just want to contribute that. Yes.
Okay, but as for us who are the base of the word voodoo, which has a very specific meaning, it is not just broad, it is very direct and specific, meaning that vo as liberty, do as community, voodoo means that which brings liberty to a community. It's not a religion. See, a lot of people talking from the Western perspective will say it's a religion. The reason why it is not a religion because we don't have any God that is a supreme God or almighty God, and everybody must go through that God. Without that God, you cannot have salvation. Religion is the only one that gives this monotheistic thing. Without Jesus, you can never have freedom. Or without Allah, you will not. No, Voodoo doesn't have that concept. That's why it's not a religion. So people should begin to understand that Voodoo cannot be a religion, and it has never been a religion. Come this way so that your voice can be heard. Yeah. Then we are Dr. Ajay is also a very is a specialist on Voodoo arts and everything. He is also in the team, and we all came from Ghana. He also want to speak because he has actually dealt with a lot of priests and priestesses and different shrines as far as Ebe Voodoo is concerned. Yeah.
Awesome. Thank you very much, Dr. Voncujovi. I also want to talk about this whole notion of the voodoo sculptures and the jokao that we are working with, how they are imbued with certain energies and spiritual entities, like Tombi Voncujovi said. And this also influence how colonial authorities operated, because they noticed that our people were spiritually grounded and connected with their ancestors through these intermediaries. So it was also a move to disconnect them from their power base for colonialism to be very effective. So the missionaries and the priests were the ones who were sent to first soften their minds and also dispossess them of their power source for colonialism to be very quick and effective. And this is what Frantz Fanon talks in his book, The Wretched of the Earth. He talks about racism being rooted in dispossession. So if we are talking about decolonization, it's also a move to repossess what we once had. So it could be repossession of our cultural artifacts, of our minds, of our identity, body politics, everything in between. So these are some of the things that I just wanted to share and highlight.
Thank you very much, Dr. Ajay, for this sharing of your view. We are very grateful. Thank you. And
Oxford Dictionary says that hoodoo is late 19th century, is of late 19th century origin in the United States.
Okay.
And is apparently an alteration of voodoo.
Finish. This is what I had always been thinking. So when people use so many things to explain that voodoo is that, it is just they just want to create a pseudo name and say we have originated this one. So that's what Oxford Dictionary is saying, and Professor Gabua, who is very well versed in our tradition, is reading from the Oxford Dictionary. So it is just an alteration of voodoo. They just wanted to create something. Antonio.
So we could also think of voodoo as of course is a word, but points us to the resilience of the tradition or the sensibility towards the power, a way to nourish power of those who were brought from the continent of Africa to the US to be slaves and dispossessed, to become property.
Yeah, but
They
they
were resisting through different means, and sometimes this means meant to
change the name.
recognize how there are certain spirits there, and they brought with them their bodies, but they brought with them also their traditions, passing away and survived till today, and now go under voodoo.
So why? What makes them stop? Why shouldn't they just call it voodoo and they have to use it voodoo to change?
Voodoo is probably just to disguise the negative connotation that
This right, okay.
So as not to be in trouble. So well, I'm not practicing voodoo.
I'm practicing voodoo. Okay.
Okay. We're talking about hundreds and hundreds of years.
Yeah.
Yes,
Not
well,
something
yeah.
that came yesterday.
Yeah. Okay, that's very interesting.
Well, it could also be to give respect to Vodou, because Vodou is a folk magic, and Vodou is more structured. You have to be trained, you have to be apprenticed, that kind of thing. I don't think that Hoodoo has that same level of, I just don't know, but it could be to give respect to Vodou and to distinguish the difference.
Maybe there were the Oxford dictionary was saying that it's another, it's a kind of another way of trying to create another form from voodoo. Yeah, that is
Because
just.
from what's another name?
They say it's an alteration of voodoo. So
I'm not sure I believe the Oxford Dictionary.
Okay.
Right. But what you say,
I would take it openly, lightly, that particular definition. Yeah.
but the idea that in the kitchen you find elements that you can use. It's like creating your own keys.
Yes.
Yeah.
Your own with what you find in the kitchen.
Yeah, maybe.
In a different way. Yeah.
Okay, we have Dr. Ohiniko, who is also part of the team that we are working with Joka and Legbao project. That's the reason why we are in Europe. It's saying that, Toby, a big pleasure listening to you. Also happy to rediscover my spirituality as an Eve. Thank you. Europe discriminated our spirituality as a fetishism. It is important that we all acknowledge that this was an insult to our culture. I agree with you, Dr. Hiniko, very, very much that yes, it was. Of course, we were colonized, and of course, whatever our colonial masters will say to break us down.
We're not our masters, we're the colonialists.
No, they were our masters. we should have said that. So when they try to discourage us with all kind of forms of derogatory words and nature to cut us from our roots, but then today we know better, and we hope to work together with the generations for us also to show what our ancestors had and had worked with, and it's still existing, and some of us are still working with and seeing results. So thank you very much, Dr. Ohiniko, Mause Tofa. And then we have Mike Thomas saying, Papa, we have seen you construct a home for the essay of people. Once this is constructed, can a new one be built in the future? Mike Thomas, I don't really understand your question that if they have constructed your essay for you or made your essay for you, what should be made in the future again? I don't understand. If you can come and say, what I mean is, can a new one be built and the essay be moved to the new one? No, essay is built only once, and that essay is the only one you have. And when you are dying or when you are dead, that essay is supposed to be buried with you. You cannot break it down and construct another one. That is not how it is done, because the herbs that go into making essay, how would you know when you break it down and you want to build another one? And that means Even if you do, you will be in trouble. Because if you ask my children, Senna, for instance, one time he was bringing his essay either from America to Ghana or from Japan to Ghana, and the essay's neck got broken in the traveling, you see. And Senna didn't notice that his essay because he wrapped it. And he started having a serious neck pain until we unwrapped his essay and we realized that the neck was broken. And then we had to fix it before the pain left him. So it was also with Pele. His essays, bottom part where the legs are supposed to be got broken. And he was experiencing pains in his leg and he didn't know what until we looked at the essay and he found that it was broken. And the moment that was fixed, then he became okay. So when they are constructing your essay for you, it is not just a clay mountain. There's a whole lot of things that goes into it to represent your spirit, your inner self. That's why we call it essay. And when that is done, and it is done properly, your essay becomes you and you become your essay. If you are feeling headache, look at your essay's head and see what is going on. If your eyes are paining you, look at your essay's eye and see what is going on. So it is not, the areas were not stupid just to put a clay and say, call it essay. There's a whole lot of things that goes into the essay, and your essay must relate to you. So it is not just a mold of clay that anytime you decide that you want to make a new one, and then you break it and make a new one. No. You need to understand what essay is. Mike, thank you very much for that question. That's why people who say they are they initiate themselves, self-initiation, I don't understand them. Self-sulfuric say, yes, initiated in 1998, okay. And again, by Yoruba Babalao in jail, okay. I don't know what it means, but it's okay. Thank you. And then by self-sulfuric, but I love the Kemetic because Nigeria has a link with Kemet. It is all connected, Baba. I know of topic, but I feel completed, compelled to share this truth, Baba, much. Thank you for your truth. I'm very grateful. A hoodoo is nothing to play with, okay? Thank you. Thank you. And then say no joke is okay unless you have true teacher, yeah? And then Santeria is watered down from form along with much later voodoo, okay? And then Ifa is the purest, that's fine. And it all comes from Ifa voodoo, and Ifa is connected, but Ifa is the original hoodoo Santeria. Okay, that's fine. We are learning. And then in New Orleans, for example, we watered down but still powerful versions of Ifa, okay. And Ifa is the mother and a father of, yes, that's okay too. And then self-sulfuric say facts, yes, I agree with you. And then so anyway, Mr. Self-sulfuric also have a lot of things to. Who is making the noise? Hey, Lamin.
Hello, Papa.
Saeed.
Yes, Papa.
So anyway, self-sulfuric also
Papa.
has a lot of things. People are making noise there. Why?
It's
Who
not.
are there
It's not
making
from.
noise?
It's not from here. Ohiniko Mao Sitofab unmuted his
Yeah.
side, so there was feedback from his side. He wanted to say something, but
Okay.
I think he was busy.
Okay. I think so. Mr. Sulfuric, self-sulfuric is talking about so many things about Nigerians being original and all this. Nobody is disputing that. Wherever you find your salvation, please stay there. That's what I always teach. I don't have a problem where you find your salvation. I know where my salvation is, or I know where I found my peace, and that's where I stick to. I don't care where you found yours. If it is good for you, stick to it.
Yeah, but it comes out of what Samuel aspect of it. However, Nigeria is an artificial creation.
nation, just as Ghana and other nations.
Our African nations.
Africa.
Yeah.
And even sometimes the division of people into so-called tribes and ethnic groups are part of the colonial enterprise done by many anthropologists. And also the connection with, if I may come in, the connection with the Egyptian civilization, Kemet, and so on, that some stress today. It's part of the Hamitic hypothesis that every good thing comes from the East, and so that we, those in the West African sub-region, for example, we did not know much. We had to get it from the East. Yet, linguistically, we are not related. When you take the linguistics evidence, the what they call the historical linguistic evidence, the languages there are atonal. Okay, our languages in the West African sub-region, which belong to the Niger-Congo language family, and we speak the Kwa branch of this family. Okay, it's very tonal. Okay, so there's the relationship between us and the Nile Valley in particular is far-fetched. If when it comes to materiality, the material thing, of course you can have coincidental words and so on. But at the point, you see, the Nile Valley findings were made during the construction of the Aswan Dam. Okay, and they chanced upon this and explored more. Were done, and all these things are from. It gives us strength as Africans that we once had this civilization dating back to about 4,000 years before present. But it doesn't mean all Africans were there in the Nile Valley. The difference is that in the Nile Valley, it is easy to find some of the evidence of our past because of the dryness of the clay, the dry environment, and so on and so forth, which influence better preservation of materials of the past.
Okay.
In the West African sub-region, for example, our environment is very humid, rainy, and you have carbon dioxide mixing with rainwater to produce a weak form of carbonic acid, which destroys many things. That
you are speaking like as an authority archaeology, so I am getting you very well.
So apart from the acidity of the soil and other things that destroy evidence of our past, okay, so you cannot get the evidence from West Africa the way you get it from
Kemet.
Yes,
East Africa,
where the past was covered by volcanic acid, or in the Nile Valley, which the clays there are dry and the environment is relatively dry to preserve those objects. And for that matter, many want to link whatever happens in West Africa to the Nile Valley. People walk down for it. It means our area was empty.
And nobody was here.
Nobody was here.
I don't think so.
It's a similar thing like the Bantu hypothesis that all the Bantu people we find in Southern Africa today migrated from Central Africa, the Cameroonian Central African Republican area, and migrated all the way to the south. It's just to play into this Eurocentric view that Europeans can lay claim to South Africa, just like the Boers did, just like the English did. That look, you are
nobody was here.
Have you Africans? You are strangers. You are also visitors here, so nobody can lay claim to this place. We can all lay claim. Okay?
Right.
Yeah, and it's just a power relation. So we must sometimes be cautious when we invoke this Kemetic theory to explain everything that we have. Okay, in the sub-region. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Professor Gavua. We are very, very grateful. That was a very deep insight for me myself. I didn't know so much about clay and how it preserved things. I mean, I'm not in that field. I only know about voodoo. So that's why I speak about what I know. But that was very interesting. And I think our friend Self-Farik will also take some lesson from that, because we are on my platform. We are all learning. I'm here as the moderator, as the teacher, but I'm a teacher who is also learning from other people, because I cannot know everything. I can only know what I was taught and what I came across.
I just read this morning something from a post that colleague sent to me that he or she who learns teaches better.
Okay. Okay, I agree because for me, I had always said that I'm learning. Even I learn from children, I learn from adults. Yes, go ahead. Who wants to talk? Okay. Yes, big brother, I call. I think we are having a feedback. Is it from there? So hold on with your question. Let's. Is it Dohinko? Uh, uh, yes, I think so. Mm-mm. Where? Are you hearing from Zoom at the same time? Then somebody is opening two mics either on Zoom and also on Clubhouse, and it is interfering. Let Said control that from the train. Okay, okay, go ahead with your question now.
That the person who is speaking must have it open everywhere.
We did this improvement. We told him that he's become a professor.
Thank you. Professor, if you want to be professor, you have to go to university and learn long time. But now, yes, I know. Okay. Yes.
From the outside and looking at you as a study thing, or everybody in that team is a voodoo practitioner?
Okay, to answer your question, not everybody is a practitioner, but then we are four AV people here. All the four of us have knowledge about our tradition, but it is me and Kofi that are practitioners, direct practitioners. We also have Antonio from Antonio Grossi from Italy, and we have Silka from Germany, Bremen, and then we also have Koku Azamede, and also Ohiniko Mause Tofa. They are academicians, or they are professors and PhD holders in their own right. Professor Gabua and also Professor Birgit Meyer. They are all people who study Vodou and our tradition from the outside. They are not practitioners. And I think maybe the near to someone who I may call practitioner is Dr. Ajay Fosela, who has been, his essay has been built for him. So I would say that he has had some experience. And of course, Professor Gabua is an elder in his hometown, who a lot of people consult for so many things. And he is an archaeologist. So he has done a lot of excavations about our tradition and all kind of things. But whether he's been initiated into anything, that one I cannot. He said he has not yet been initiated. But so there are academicians working from the outside into the inside. That's their work, and they are very much defenders of our tradition.
The credibility is high, because you see, if we're all practitioners, somebody can say, oh well,
composition of the team. And we wish you all the success, and we hope that we'll get a resolution to whether or not we want to bring these entities back home. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Big Brother Echo. And I think you are very right. The combination of this team is a very highly charged PhD holders, doctors, professors, not only PhD holders, professors, people who have their own authority on their subjects, and we are all working for this great team. And we thank the Professor Dr. Bridget Mayer, who put this team together. And everybody is an authority in their own field, and it is very interesting. We, as priests, were invited into it because when it comes to the real working of the voodoo, we are the ones who can tell whether this is how it should be worked. But then the academia and academicians and the professors, they have their own way putting it, until we as priests also come in just to give some light to what the voodoo is really, what voodoo really is. Yeah, that's what it is. Thank you very much, Big Brother Echo. And then we have Ohiniko Mause Tokfa saying, Toby, you are the real doctor and professor. The same way Europeans give high consideration to their priests, I'm highly honored to learn from you. Oh, thank you, Dr. Ohiniko. Me, I'm not a professor. Anyway, thank you very much. Thank you very much for that comment. I'm very grateful. And it's Koku Azamede also listening. And can we have some contribution for the cameras here? I know you are listening. Please come with something and let's see. Thank you, because everything we are doing here today, Antonio is covering it, and we are going to put them all into our project. Maybe he's busy with work. Okay, so far we've dealt with Facebook and YouTube. We'll go back to YouTube and see. Kofi is the one who is directing this thing. I don't know. Okay, Professor Koku Azamade is there. Prof. Leke.
Yeah. Egbe.
You okay?
Thank you very much, Toby. I'm listening to you with much interest. So I think what you are doing is part of a contribution for the development of our culture, and that's why really I'm listening and I'm learning so much. So I'm thanking also Professor Gavoin, who is giving much information and much explanation about the history and the term. So I think this project concerning the religious object will help us to go deeper in our not only in our history but also in the culture, in the religion of our people, the Ave. So thank you very much for all that you are doing. So I don't have so much question, but I like what is going on here. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Dr. Koku Azamade, Professor Koku Azamade. Thank you. We are very grateful to you for also being part of today's learning process. We are grateful. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Wait, Antonio, change me to YouTube. So let me see if they have any questions there. Kofi has gone. I don't know where he's gone to. Okay. We have YouTube here. Yes.
Fabinia Pani.
Yes, I'll take it from here. So I think we thank you so much, Bokor, Christopher. That's from Fatima Friday. So we're getting Kwabena Penny. Good afternoon, Papa. I hope your trip is going very well. Yes, Kwabena, Senna told me about you. I didn't know that you people got married already, you and Ada. Yes, I knew that you told me about the engagement, and Senna told me now you both are man and wife and husband. Congratulations to you, and I wish you very well on this very difficult journey of marriage. It's not an easy journey, but you have taken the first step, and I only wish you well. Thank you very much. And then, Kwabena Penny again, may you please share the name of the participant who was talking about the acidity of the soil in West Africa? Okay, it's a Professor Kojo Gavois from the Department of Archaeology and Heritage Studies at the University of Ghana. He is the head of the department, or is it department you call it?
Yeah, I was the head and I was the Dean of Arts.
The Dean of Arts, yeah. Okay. It's a Professor Kojo Gavois. I think when you go on the net, you find him. He's everywhere. He's everywhere. So thank you very much, Kwabena, for that. And then we have Benny Moswane saying, what is the role of a porcupine quail in Ewe tradition and voodoo? Porcupine quail, we saw some voodoos in the museum. They are made out of the porcupine quail, and they are twin voodoos. And in fact, I didn't know what they are for, but I know porcupine, the quail is like an arrow, which can sting, and also with the porcupine is being alive. When animals want to attack it, it stings them with the quail. So I believe that porcupine quail is very, very important for protection and also for attack. Thank you very much, Benny Moswani from South Africa. Thank you. In fact, I was very interested in those two voodoos there with the porcupine and some other ones also, but the one is completely only porcupine quails, and it was so interesting. It caught my attention. I think somebody check it. I think we are done for today. If I don't have any more questions from anybody, we'll be closing today's section, and hopefully next Sunday. When are we arriving in Ghana? We are arriving on Saturday. Okay, so hopefully next Sunday I will be in the shrine and I will be transmitting from the shrine. And those of you who have joined us today, please join us. I think Kwaku is saying something. How do we get him? Are you sure? Okay. Then we need to see that. Kwabena Penny is saying that thank you very much for your well wishes, Papa. I'll be contacting you soon when you get back from Europe. And thanks for sharing the name of the professor too. Thank you too very much for joining the section. Yeah, very good. I know you are also a doctor, but then you should meet. You are also a PhD holder. So when you connect with Professor Gavois, and I think we'll all learn from one another. Irene is in Ghana. I am in Europe. What do you want me to do? If Irene is in Ghana at the shrine, yes, she's at the shrine. My sister, she's at the shrine, but I am in Europe. So tell her that she's welcome.
You're also welcome.
Don't let them put a personal distance into the program, please. She should also just sit down and listen. If she has a question to ask, you can ask. Have you met her, my sister, the one we live in Japan together? Okay, I think we are done with today, and I don't know. Professor Kopu Azamande was talking, and Said, find out what whether it was a new this thing or it's an old thing. Please bring it to life for me so that I can check it and see. I don't know. What is this?
Hello. Please can.
Yeah.
Yes, hello.
Yes.
No, Toby, it was all what I sent it to you before.
Okay. Thank you very much.
Yes.
Thank you, Professor. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Yeah. Goodbye.
Maybe we can play the video.
Yes, Said.
Hello, Papa. Hello,
Lamin.
Yes, Papa. Hello.
Yeah, please. You can now play the video that Antonio sent to you. Please play it now so that after that we can close today's section.
Yes, please.
Size is 770. Yeah, we are here at the museum in Hamburg, and some of our African juju, joka, or bokor, and legba, and all these things are kept here for years, hundreds of years, century. And we are coming here. We just came back from Bremen, where we saw some of the joka. We prayed to them yesterday. Speech. Today we are in Hamburg, and we are coming to pray to the joka and the voodoos and the bokor and legbas that are also kept here for over a century. So we are just at the entrance to the museum. We'll be working here today to tell our ancestors and the spirits that they work with them that yes, they have been taken away for long, but they have not been forgotten.
So you will not see black.
The one we saw.
Because leper is not an art. No. And the joka is not an art. No. Joka is joka.
Yeah. Why do you have all these things over here? What are you using them for, you know? So when you... I don't even know what to say. But I'm not sad person.
Those are the questions you
Yeah.
Like why they have...
It's funny, yeah. Because it's funny and also interesting. Because like, why do you have all these things over here? Okay, you claim you don't practice and you are trying to make the people Christians. So why then keep them? Don't just destroy them or something. But they kept them here. We don't know. Maybe one of them was practicing, some of them were, but we can't tell. But personally, I'm not sad. I'm just okay. But it's interesting to see.
Yeah. I mean, you have a spirit, you have your voodoo.
Yeah, I have my own voodoo.
You didn't come here to get voodoo.
Yeah. So yeah.
According to what the museums are saying, they have not been fed, they have not taken anything. That's why Professor Bridget have taken note of the Buddhist statues here, that there was a ritual done for them. That's why they are. So maybe as time goes on and with our negotiations, if we cannot take them back, then they should allow us to be praying to them, because spirit can be anywhere and still work. So if they will not allow us to take them back immediately, at least we should be feeding them and taking care of them until we are able to have an understanding whereby they will be repatriated or whatever. It also depends on the spirit. We have to ask them. Just like human beings, some people who have been taken from their homeland to come to another country by force or by coercion, whatever, they don't want to come back to Africa. Some would want to go back to Africa, but majority say no, Africa no. So we don't know. We don't know the case of the spirits as yet until we ask them.
So I think I'm just going to pour the last libation for the spirits and the voodoos that came here with me. And I also pray that they will share it with the other voodoos that are in the museum. Then, since we are here, they can connect with each other. So when I pour the libation for them now, I pray and also hope that the voodoos that we saw in the museums and we will see again will also partake from this libation, because spirits can eat anywhere. If only you ask them to come and eat, they will come. I can be in Ghana and still feed voodoos in America. I can be in Ghana and still feed voodoos in Europe. It is up to me and also up to the voodoos that when I invite them, if they want to partake, because they are spirits. They are not physical things that they need a leg and listen to walk. They are not bounded by time, space, and a place. They can always be where they want to be at any time if they choose to. So I'm going to pour libation for the voodoos that I brought with me to, and then also I hope that the ones that we saw already and the ones we are going to see soon will also partake in this. So after that, I will be closing today's section. I thank you all very much for joining us. And even though we are not at our station, but this has been a very interesting thing. I also want to say thank you to Self Forik, the guy who is talking about Kemet. I think today is the first time he had been on my platform, and probably he was watching from the background, but today he asks questions, and his contributions are also very important. We cannot just write them away, because that's the way he understood this tradition, and that's the way he learned. So he's trying to also show us his understanding of what our tradition is. So I thank him very much for all the questions, even though I couldn't read all his questions, because if I were to take all his questions, I wouldn't be able to talk about other people's questions and also teach people. So if I offended him in any way, he should just take it that we are all learning from one another. Thank you all. Thank you, Zil. Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Zil.
Thank you.
Bye. Yo tabe mama pete mentat pelo bebe donami. Nya tefe me yo mauga sobolisa mauga kitikata mauga esse joto ame joto me yo ra ke doagu la peda. Me yo legba ajibosu ba me no mi jime doagu ngoso. Legba bi me yo zume legba me yo tobe damale bo kama do ba sabu wo no me jima le ko me le bodo le mi bo. Me yo me okeke bodu le siere ke program. Me yo tobe geje me yo gogli. Me yo to no pe me yo ra ke me yo akra ku ntosi la peda be mi na never me ntosi adomi wore mi pota nero me yo akintola be mi apete ke na te fe akpe komanda mi ja mi mele mi ame poji uga ke mi pere mi mi do no mere ma wona no mi ayome be mi na do iwo fe mi bare do na je fiato na je egato ame yo bete le vodu yo mi va poji vodu yo mi yere popope melo akpedana mi vodua be mi de etemu de kuku de na mi avodu yo mi yere popope na chori choyo na de kuku na mi pete mi asevere ele ko mi atan we gbo to we na me setata o chere ya serali me ga de bibo mi agba o chere mi ate ne mata teori mi serali mi akwesi gbeko ahai me fora ni we na mi o pete no ai achaguro ni bana dudu mi ano bi pete sia pena mi okay o ma wale do meta yin to ma ko so no
My father came on na communion kakaka. Then for father na communion kakaka. I ain't Jesus. So ain't toy kono na. I ain't my chonu. Say when the priest in the Catholic Church give everybody the Holy Communion bread, then he himself take the new wine. He doesn't give anybody. Then he alone drink it in the name of God, because my father told me that God is inside your throat. So when you drink it and it is tasty, that means the gods, they have accepted. So let me also do this one. Ah, very good. Double ahanyu enyu top. Yo, yeah, wait. But the camera. Ah, okay, okay. Okay, come back off. Yeah, okay. See, Mando Baba ina masya. You were saying that camera is disturbing. That's why we put it. Okay. So everybody for joining us to Wi-Fi or Slack data. Are they seeing? Okay. So I'm thanking the technical team in. Are you people seeing me?
No, we are hearing you, but we're not seeing you. We can hear you, but we can't see you yet.
Can you see me now?
No, please.
Oh.
Can you turn on the camera?
The camera is on. They turn it on. The camera is on. Maybe the network is on. By one. Apparently, the security file. You can hold it in the hand so that they can see.
Okay, yes, we can see you now.
Yeah. You can see me now. Trading according to me. Yeah. So you can see me now.
Yes, please.
Okay, so I am thanking all of you in Accra, Ghana, at the African Magic Temple for making this possible. If not for you, I don't know how we'll be able to communicate from America to Utrecht in Holland and then to Accra in Africa. It's a very very great work you people have done, and I'm grateful to you all, and may the ancestors may the ancestors may Are you okay?
Yes.
Are you okay?
Yes.
Are you okay? So the people on Clubhouse, can you hear me?
Papa, we can hear you now.
Okay, so I'm thanking you all for today's work, and hopefully next week I'll be there physically, and we'll all work together, and these challenges that we had today won't be there. And may your ancestors continue to bless you and bless all of you who contributed to this program today, and those who are even watching without chin. May the
ancestors continue to bless you and open doors that are closed to you, doors that are not opening for you. May the ancestors, the voodoos that are with you, the gods of your fathers, continue to open doors for you. Last night I had a dream. I had a dream last night where I was teaching people in the dream. And it was like I was doing a sermon for somebody in my dream, but the person was a woman, a very, very beautiful woman. And I was doing a sermon for the woman. And we went, after the sermon, we went into a place like a restaurant. And there, some people were complaining. Then I asked them that you said the European way of worshiping God is the best thing. So why is it that you have been worshiping the European way until today? Your life has not changed and you still stick to it. And then I saw a group of people there also nodding for what I was saying. If you are doing something and you are not finding results or you are not getting solution to it, why stick to it? The Europeans never had the natural resources before like we had. Now they have also discovered oil and other things in the North Sea and all this. But before, those things were not there. They were able to take, this is what I was saying in the dream, they were able to take from our land and come to develop their lands. And we are still there where we were, and you believe that their ways are better than yours. Their ways are good for them, and our ways should also be good for us. And we should have embraced and accept our ways and try to live by that so that we can develop. We can interact to learn from other people, but we should not just abandon ours, thinking that ours is evil. So thank you all, and may the gods of our land continue to bless you. And bye-bye to everybody for today's contribution. Thank you, Shamba. Thank you all.
Thank you, Papa.
Yeah, thank you, Big Brother Call. Thank you, Nuku and Abayomi, and all of you. I can see your names here now. Fafa and Ray, thank you all for the questions that you had asked, and may the ancestors continue to guide and bless you. Yes, Kofi, well done. Akbe, Antonio, thank you all. And Silka, thank you, everybody.
Bye, see you. I bring my phone.
We were able to pull this one through, which is very interesting. So what is next? We're going to go to bye-bye, settle. Auntie Irene.
Yes. Bye.
Irene,
Yes.
bye-bye.
Bye. La plafond venalo. Plafond venalo.
Hable, Kenke.
Plafond.
Kenke.
Phone venalo.
Yes. No phone, man, if your phone was who will play.
Ah, kami na iba do la ko na play na.
Man,
Na play venam like chanu gani. Ki anto ile.
phone Ghana, let's stop, Mary.
Ah, kami na va ko na pinyane play na.
You may say, I put on your bed.
Bye.
Bye-bye. Come on, John. Yeah, we're done. Say you have played off. Meka ile megbe Mike. Mike. Look at me for. Where's up? Mauli. Mike call at the boy for Nake.
Okay.
Cover. Me call cover and then call do because okay. We put on me. Then you talk about that.
Yes, all right. You.
Akwe.
Okay.
Okay. Tony Adams. Are you chopping the food?
Yes, of course. I mean, but women enjoy.
Banku the guy don't many.
Let me fall.
You know, I put them in your way.
All right. me for it.